All right. Hello, friends. Got people coming on now. Some familiar faces, names here. Good deal. Ryan Groth here. What's going on, everybody? We're going to get started in just a minute as you guys are all jumping on. So while you're doing that, go ahead and tell us in the chat. Is there a chat? Should be a chat. Yep. Tell us in the chat where you guys are calling in from. Give us a little, coming in live from where you live. It'd be great to see that. And get rolling shortly. And we could actually probably fire up the slide presentation. Calgary, Philly, there you go. BC, there you go, beautiful up there. New Jersey, there you go. Eric from Kansas City, good to see you. Hey Ben, are you there? Or maybe Veronica, maybe we could have one of you drive the slides because Bill's still hopping on. That's okay. You'd be able to grab that. Detroit, Michigan, San Diego, Patrick. What's up, buddy? Justin, there you are from Utah. Tyler Grams, my gosh. I remember you from, before you even had a family. That's how long I've known you. It's been forever. Good to see you. Okay. Sal, Rigby, Idaho. Awesome. Okay. Ahmad from Maui. There you are. Good to see you. Cool. Well, we're waiting on one more person from our team. So just bear with us, guys. Waiting on that person. His name is Bill. And our slides. Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Okay. Or the slides I just find them myself here. I'll just do it. So.
Sure, I can dig it up, Ryan, if you want.
We don't have it here, so we'll need to dig that up. Cool. Awesome. Good deal. We'll start in just a second. Adam, are you good?
I'm good. Bill's not, you need to maybe re-invite him.
Give me 1 second, guys.
I'll do it.
You got the re-inviting?
Yes.
He should be as an alternative host on Zoom, so that should already be good. He just needs to open up the link in Slack.
Ryan just sent you a link in Slack too.
It's already in there. Yeah. Okay. Good. Well, we have some of our teammates here. Adam and Keith and I will be sharing along with Bill, who's coming on in a minute. But maybe, Adam, we can get rolling while Bill's getting on. Keep our guests waiting. All right. Awesome. So what we're going to talk about is the top 7 keys to a 7X future. So I'm going to kind of kick us off and share a little bit of just the story of why we're even going into this type of content and what's happened with STG, what's happened with my business. Talk about Adam, Bill, who hopefully will join us, and then Keith as well. And what you're going to do is you're going to learn some key takeaways and some key hidden, little discussed concepts in our industry that we just don't cover that often, that we're going to cover today. So we're really pumped for that. And we'll just kind of go ahead and get started here. So why are we here? Well, I'll tell you, look, I mean, I hit a wall with my business and was not able to get to a certain point without doing something. And so like at STG, you guys, if you know us, we're all about sales, and you know me, you hear me talk about growth and sales. Well, guess what? I mean, if you're growing and you're selling and you're expanding, your stuff's going to start breaking, stuff's going to start, falling apart. And what was exciting is, although we knew how to turn the faucet on and get sales and make money, I started to struggle with every single problem that every single CEO struggles with. Their owner is like, you're wearing a lot of the hats. How do you build the next level of a leadership team? How do you form a senior leadership team? How do you get this thing to the next level? And we've grown so much here at SCG. We have so many clients are bringing on new team members. And I hit this wall where I was stuck with this like mentality where I was growing, I could make sales, but how do I go from salesperson to CEO, right? How do you as a contractor go from installer, applicator to a CEO? How do you start to truly become the leader who goes to the next level? And what I turned into is Ryan, a sales coach and salesperson and sales guru, to a CEO of a platform that delivers sales development advice and processes, right? And it was amazing. It's like, how exactly the same is that to a contractor? I am a decking contractor. I'm a commercial roofing contractor. I am a roofer. I am a contractor. But at some point, I got to become a CEO. At some point, I have to become an executive. And that's really what I started to grow and step into. And so you'll learn and you'll meet some of the team members that are here with me now. But part of my story is dating back to prior to, like, right out of fresh out of pro baseball. Before I got into the industry, I met a gentleman who started to encourage me to think about sales and success and business differently, and kind of started to give me confidence in my own abilities and help me see, because I saw him doing it, that, man, if he's doing it, and I know he's a hard worker and so am I have a shot. I got a chance. And I started asking questions and build relationship. And, we became really close friends, and our families know each other, the whole nine. And after I started building SCG and getting it to a point and I started reconnecting, it was just like amazing how everything kind of came full circle. And that person actually joined and became an executive in our company and a partner and somebody who's helping us level up. And that person's Adam. So Adam House has been, was a friend first and now a partner in the business, and somebody that you guys are going to get to know more and more and more, because he's been kind of behind the scenes helping me build the structure of STG and form our team and get our plan together. And, it's been awesome. And so with that, we're starting to share now what are the things that he's already bringing to my company from his experience and our other senior leaders with Bill and Keith, that we could start to impact the industry with. So this is what this is all about. We're really just like, everything we teach, we're doing, and we're wanting to pour out into the industry, to professionalize the industry. And what's amazing is we're not bringing in just contractors who are successful. We're bringing in people who are outside of business, the industry, bringing in best business practices into the industry. And that's a key advantage in this industry, is taking concepts outside of it, like in technology and venture capital and large, big business and consulting businesses, into the contracting business. And that kind of white collar tech entrepreneurial executive skill set is what's going to flip this industry on its head. And that's what we're doing. So that's kind of my story. Just hit a wall. We've been growing like crazy. And here's Adam. So Adam, I've made a kind of an intro here from my side, but Adam, president of STG and friend and partner. Why don't you share a little bit about your background, and before we get into some of the content here.
No, I appreciate the introduction, Ryan, and it's been awesome to watch you really over the last decade, man. It's amazing how time flies, but just watch you grow as a man, a husband, a professional, and now as an executive. A lot of people aren't able to make the transition from solopreneur to entrepreneur to now CEO, and watch your team grow from 5 team members, really from one, you calling me on, hey, what do you think about this idea? And how do I grow this business? And, just watch you, take that advice and guidance and grow, STG to where it is today. So I thought it was important for me to share a little bit about my journey. I was very fortunate in 1996 to be an intern in Detroit, Michigan for a man named Dan Gilbert. So at the time it was Rock Financial. They had about 80 to 100 employees at the time, and he was looking for an intern. And so being a junior or senior in high school, I was a sponge, right? Just kind of getting in that environment, taking, in everything I could of what it was like to build a business, to run a business, to cast vision, to watch team members, buy into that vision. How do you get them to do it? And, now everyone knows, that's grown into Rocket Mortgage, a multi-billion-dollar publicly traded company. And, that was a great experience for me. In my freshman year of college, I played basketball and moved down to South Florida for the summer, or it was supposed to just be the summer. And ended up starting my own business out of my apartment, grew up from a couple $100s to a multi-million-dollar business. I sold that back in 2007. That was a direct marketing business. And right after that, I started a mobile technology company. That was 18 months, idea to exit. We were optimizing websites to work on mobile devices. So if you think back in 2009, you had this website designed for a desktop size screen. Our technology was optimizing that to work on smaller devices, iPads, iPhones, Blackberries, etc. So that, as I mentioned, was 18 months, idea to exit. So I do what every 32-year-old dreams of doing, which is pursuing a professional basketball career. So I sold Velocitude for 30 times revenue. It was a multi-million-dollar exit, and kind of had that midlife crisis at 32. Like some people buy a Corvette, some people do whatever it is you want to do at 32 when you cash in. And for me, it was pursuing that lifelong dream of being a professional athlete. So my wife looks at me and said, yeah, sounds great, whatever keeps you out of the house. Because then after 2 weeks of being home, I was driving her nuts with my to-do list and, hey, let's organize this and that. And of course, I didn't want to do any of the work. I just wanted to tell her what to do. So after I dodged the pan, flying at my head, I decided to pursue that lifelong dream of playing professional basketball. So I trained for 6 months. I had a nutritionist, skills coach, weightlifting coach, and ended up making the Rochester Razor Sharks, which is in the professional basketball league in Rochester, New York, and did that for a year and had to grow up and, become an executive again. So started a healthcare analytics business that, started from a napkin, grew it to a multi-million-dollar analytics company. They're in the process of going public and will be listed on the NASDAQ here this summer. Subsequently, during that time, I moved back to the Detroit area, went to lunch with Jay Farner, the CEO of Rocket Mortgage, and he said, hey, wouldn't it be a great story for you to come back and work at Rocket Mortgage? So worked there for 2 years, and over the last summer, Ryan called me and started to talk to me about all the things that have happened for Sales Transformation Group, where he got the business. And I said, hey, I've kind of gotten the business to where it is now. I need someone like you that can help me get it to where I want it to go. And he's kind of like, do you know anybody? And the more we talked about it, and the more I thought about like who I am and my DNA, it kind of seemed like the perfect fit for me. So I joined Sales Transformation Group last summer. So I tell you all that to not, show you all of these highlights of, hey, look at me and look at my journey, because that's definitely not what it's about. It's about really all of those small lines in between the big bullets of where real life happens. And so, the title of this webinar, the 7 keys, you see my, 7 secrets to this, 5 secrets to that. for anyone that's traveled the journey of becoming successful, is you realize there are no 7 steps. The number of steps are infinite and they're ongoing. And as soon as you think you reach the top of those, of those stairs, that flight of stairs, you realize, you look up, like, I'm just at the beginning. So all of these times I've had to, reinvent myself, from direct marketing to healthcare to technology to playing pro basketball. Like, life is about the process. It's never about the outcome. So, you out there as a contractor, you're an executive, you're a leader, and how long has it taken you to get to where you are? What bumps have you had to overcome, the challenges you've had to overcome to get to where you are? Life is about the obstacles that we overcome. It's never about arriving. And so I like to share that and, show you that I definitely have a track record of success, but I know the number of steps it takes are infinite to get there. And so part of this journey, Ryan has talked about, his transition from solopreneur to entrepreneur to, now being a CEO. During my career, I had to make this evolution as well. So my first business, I did it all myself. I was operations, I was sales, I was marketing, doing literally everything you could think of, from the back of a, 2-bedroom apartment. And in 2009, I hired an executive that had just sold his company to Google. And I'm going to talk about him in a minute, but kind of learned in this process of bringing along the right people at the right time that have the right skill set that allows me to do the things that I do that no one else can. So Ryan, you can go ahead and jump, to the next slide there. So Keith,
Keith or Bill?
You can go with either one. Your choice.
Let's go, Keith. Let's go,
so
Keith.
Keith, you're going to hear from him later on, but he joined Sales Transformation Group this fall. It was kind of one of those, phone calls of, hey, do you want to be a business strategist? And the more I talked to him, I learned about his experience and all the different things that he brings to the table. And so, one of my great skill sets is delegating and empowering other people. And I think maybe delegated a little too much. I was like, wow, you can do this. Here you go. Wow, you can do that. Here you go. So, through that process, he really stepped, to the table, and, just was able to take on everything that aligned with, what his skill sets are, which is, strategy and, building and leading our strategist department, which, helps all of our clients with, the product delivery. And so Keith, you're going to hear from him later, but, absolute rock star that's, changed our, post-sale client delivery. So looking forward to hearing from you, Keith.
Yep.
And then the next man, Bill, Bill and I, as I mentioned earlier, he had sold his company to Google, and I posted an ad on LinkedIn, and, you get hundreds of responses. And I just happened to notice, the address was in Paris. I'm like, who is this guy in Paris applying for a startup in Fort Lauderdale, Florida? And so, I sent him an email. We ended up connecting over Skype, and I talked to him. And of course, being the creative entrepreneur at the time, I wasn't looking to, take on a $300,000 a year salary. So I said, hey, Bill, why don't you fly to Fort Lauderdale? I'll, pay for your flight, and you can audition for the job. And so just happened to have, 3 or 4 meetings lined up that week. He came in, and, as a startup, we landed Office Depot, Auto Carnival Cruise Lines, and then flew to New Jersey and closed the USGA for mobile scoring. So if you've ever sold, to Fortune 500 companies or, these big deals, like, they don't happen overnight. And it was just one of those, right time, right place. We closed those 5 deals. I said, Billy, you got the job, and, go ahead and move your wife here from Paris. So Bill, joined the company, joined Velocitude, and he helped bring a lot of operational expertise. So he's been the CEO of both public and private businesses. He's raised hundreds of millions of dollars of capital. As I mentioned, sold a company to Google. So he's been instrumental of being that operation and execution guy, as well as, obsessed with Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. So again, it was just that, next level thinking, building a financial model, having a plan. And that was really my evolution, into being, a CEO of a multi-million-dollar business, as opposed to, where we were at the time. So Bill, I'm going to hand it over to you.
Actually, I think Ryan's going to cover some of the next slides. Ryan.
You got the next slide.
Yeah.
So needless to say, we've been working hard and building a great team, and it's really paying off here internally, and you guys are going to see it externally. So we've been seeing some great quarter by quarter growth. I mean, if you guys have been tuning in and watching me for a while, it's been a lot of moving and shaking, and as long as I'm alive, I'll probably just keep doing that. So I'm just going to figure this, keep making things happen. But we've grown a ton. Double-digit quarter-over-quarter sales growth, expanded product portfolio. We've increased our staff by 300% to handle the growth. We launched a service accelerator product in late last year, and it's been doing really well. We've added executive accelerator. We have some clients getting great results with us on that product. We launched a Roof Warrior product, which is for residential door-to-door sales, and then a residential sales accelerator product just this month. And now we're looking at different products into the future to help our clients grow. So needless to say, like, when you have a big vision as a leader, you're just going to have to get to a point where you're like, I just can't do it alone. I got to have some strong leaders in my corner to help us pull this amazing thing off. So this is just kind of a little track record so far of what's happening internally, so you guys see what's really going on. Next slide. And so my big lesson here is what got you here won't get you there, right? Like, that's the paradox. The beliefs that carried us here may be holding us back in our quest to get there. And so for me, I'll tell you, like, the biggest thing that was like spending all this money. That's how you could think. It's like, oh my gosh, I'm spending all this money. It's like, that's the limited, that's the level that got you here. But to get you there, you have to say, man, I get to invest in all these people. I get to empower and delegate all these people. I get to create a structure and a system and really go from this lean, mean, ragtag team to a real strong organization. And many of you guys are in that same place that I'm in or I'm and was in. And you want to get to this place where you are leveling up as an organization, where you're excited. You don't bat an eye at a large compensation package anymore. You don't bat an eye at a big investment that before we would make you want to like bomb it. You're like, oh my gosh, is this how much money? Now you're like, oh, you start to think differently. And so when you have companies and people who've experienced massive transactions, huge amounts of ROI on decisions, and huge pitfalls and mistakes, and you boil it into your business and you bring that mindset in, you're like, wow, this is amazing. So what got you here won't get you there. And that's what this is all about. We want to impart some keys and some best practices and beliefs that will help you level up. So let's continue. What you guys are thinking to yourself is, man, you put years into this business, blood, sweat, and tears, and this thing is not creating the future you want for yourself and your family. And if you want to have something different, you got to change, and you have to take the risk and make the right moves. And so that's what this is all about. We'll continue and share more in a minute. So you might be thinking, I've got a small to medium-sized business that's been around for a decade and it's still small, right? It's not growing. And I'm not sure what to do next. This is for you. And if this is you, this is for you. Next. If you're a CEO owner under the pressure to grow your business and grow it faster, right? But it involves taking innovative action unacceptable to stakeholders, and I feel completely stuck and alone. If that's you, you can say, hey, that's me. Raise your hand or say, yep, I feel that. We own a company. We're cashing in on our passion, right? but we're mired in operational problems that we can't seem to escape. Right. So that if that's you, hit us with a little something there, a little emoji, little that's me. So yeah. Adam, is this you?
You can finish it off, Ryan.
Okay. Your morning routine generates 7 times return for good or bad. Make it good. So success is just around the corner from difficulty. So there's no perfect decisions, only excellent applications. Choice is the grease in the gears of success. So what we talk about is all about these little choices that make up these large choices, these habits. Next slide.
Thanks, Ryan. So at this point, I wanted to kind of set the framework for the 7 keys. And that, as Adam mentioned, 7's just a number. And, does it get you to 7x return? Does it get you to double-digit return? It gives you significant return. And what we wanted to do was give you a backdrop to think about what are the areas to focus on when you're looking at growing your companies and how we can help you grow some of those companies. So here's the 7 keys. I'm going to spend a little bit of time going into a bit more detail around them, but if you read them, you're looking around value, you're looking about your market, you're looking at how do you shape your revenue, how do you get marquee customers, what kind of alliances do you form, and financials, understanding your finances and everything around them, and then of course your management and your mentors. The board is just think of them as mentors that can help you grow your company. Next slide, please. So value, when we think about value, you can think about value in a number of dimensions, right? So you can think about creating value in a new market. You can think about redefining the market. In some cases, you'll see companies that compete on price and quality. And for this audience, we suggest that you actually look at redefining the market because that's sustainable, right? So as an example, look at Starbucks. Starbucks redefined the coffee business, right? There were coffee shops all over the place, but why do people go into Starbucks? They go into Starbucks because they're looking at, the experience that you get into going into a Starbucks. Not only do you get your coffee, but in many places now it's a second or third office for many people. And so it's important to think about redefining the market that you're playing in and looking at it through a different lens. And you can find that there's exponential growth in that area, right? So even if you look at what we did as a company, and Ryan shared a little bit in terms of the growth that we're going through. And if you looked at the growth when Adam and the other executive team came on board, it continued that trajectory, right? So it's an exponential growth, that's real numbers. Those are not made up curves, right? So that's, and we did that through redefining our approach to business, looking at technology, looking at the business processes. So, we were already in this market, but we redefined it. So if you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, please. So you think about redefining the market, redefine the customer benefits, focus in on that value zone that you're interested in, innovate and test. And that's important because you may find that you're in a specific area and you don't know if it's going to work or not. So, one of the expressions says fail fast, often and cheap, right? Which is do it, test it, and if it doesn't work, move on, right? So quick and dirty. So, the key point out of value is even in an established market, you can gain tremendous market share by, fulfilling an unmet need through differentiated products and services, right? Next slide, please. Second key, exploiting a high growth market, right? So the key to exploiting a high growth market is establishing a process and culture to stay close to your clients. Ryan lives this day in, day out at STG, and the entire management team and every employee, looks at the process, the culture, our relationship with our clients and so forth, right? So it's important to not only be tied to your customers, but you can also utilize the best management practices and technologies to stay close to your customers. The other thing is you can expand your product portfolio. Ryan again showed that at STG, we've added a number of products over the last 18 months, right? Partner with your suppliers, right? So you can do a number of things and aspects to exploit a high growth market, right? As an example, for the audience here, you may be in a certain segment, you can grow into commercial. You may have the business and you want to get into more door-to-door sales, or you may adopt technology to get closer to your customers. Or conversely, you may partner with product manufacturers to get differentiated solutions. So you got a number of levers to play to exploit this market. Next slide, please. Marquee customers. So the various types of marquee customers. There's customers that are first movers, right? More so in the technology space where they're always seeking a leading edge, cutting edge solution. And there are fast followers. Those are the people that want to move fast, but they want to make sure that the product is validated and tested. Then there's the mainstream, right? They want to work with companies that have a proven product or service. And that's really, our focus here for you is you should be focusing on the mainstream. That's where the huge opportunity is. And there's also, the utilitarian. That's usually slow moving. They're hard to adopt to a product and so forth. But if you focus on the mainstream, you can focus on creating great benefits, focusing on the value. You can focus on a roadmap on these services. And as a result of this, you get marquee customers, which give you testimonials, right? They're your flagship. They're your lighthouse account that you can always call on and be a reference for you as you expand. And we thank you. When we look at the people on here, you're loyal to STG. We appreciate the feedback that you get from you. We appreciate you being willing to get on the call for us and highlight the value that we provided to you. So, thank you for being marquee customers for STG. Next. Alliances. When we look at alliances, you have big brother, little brother. It basically means, you have partners that you can form relationships with. And those alliances become important as you can't do it all. You have a certain focus, you have a certain capability, but the alliances can give you tremendous reach in allowing you to grow your company. It can fill critical gaps in your portfolio. It gives you credibility with your customers. It gives you the ability to access and scale into new markets. And it gives you insight in terms of what's happening in the marketplace so you can adapt on how you're going to grow your business. Next slide, please. So think about it, as an alliance, you may find situations where you're selling to a national client, but you don't have a footprint in the other geographies. You may find a great partner that can help fulfill your products in that market. At the same time, you maintain the relationship with the entire client across the nation. Or you may have a franchisee that you're working with, right? So they could be another mechanism of expanding your market and your relationships. You can form a customer advisory board. You could, get products or services to fill your gaps. Another kind of alliance is, for example, you form alliances with your customers. You may be property managers that you formed an alliance with, and they bring you into all of the other properties that they're managing, right? So when you think about alliances, they can be in all sorts of shape or form, but it's really about maximizing the customer life cycle. How do you get more wallet share from the customers through these alliances? So it gives you the ability to think creatively in terms of what types of alliances that you can form. Next slide.
Can we go back a second here? Just
sure.
There's a lot of hugely valuable things to cover. So if you guys are if you have questions, please ask them now or hold them till the end. We're going to make some space. So we covered a lot, and we can, probably just review here in a second. But I'll tell you one thing that's been really key is forming an advisory board. So you can form different types of advisory boards, but I could tell you, when you have customers who believe in you and believe in your vision and your company, what you guys are doing as an organization, and you form an advisory board and they give you real-time feedback and they create accountability and they can say what your perception is in the marketplace and tell you what somebody else is doing and just give you guys insights, it is so powerful. And so I would say, like, if you guys are looking at doing that, that's one of the most valuable things we've done in forming this senior leadership team, is also creating an advisory board. So that's something that you know, is really, really powerful, just to add to that, just from my own testimony.
Okay, thanks, Ryan. Next slide. So of course, we talked about some of these attributes of, creating value, looking at the market, forming relationships with marquee customers. But ultimately, it's going to come down to your finances, right? How do you track and manage your finances? As Adam said, I love my spreadsheets, right? So, you need to look at focusing on your return on invested capital. The more return for the cost of capital. Some of you may be borrowing money. Some of you may be using the cash flow of your business. It's all about maximizing your return on that cost of capital. And the sooner you can maximize that, the more you're going to be on that exponential curve. I've thrown a couple attributes here, just to kind of think of when you're looking at your business to, what kind of business, what kind of metrics do you need to have a company that's growing exponentially. So if you have gross margins in 60% plus and EBITDA in the 20% range, and you can get to cash flow positive early, you're well on your way to double-digit returns in your business, or exponential returns. So it's key to focus on your finances. We spend a lot of time looking at our numbers, and also how do you get efficiencies out of your business, right? So technology is one of the ways that you can start reducing your cost of capital. Ryan can share a story with you in terms of which was interesting to me because he shared this last week. He put it on a slide to our team meeting. He says, do you know how many tasks were automated last week? How many was that, Ryan?
3,975.
So, so the technology aspect of what you can automate to help, reduce your costs, your operational costs, there's phenomenal opportunity there. So, key point, get cash flow positive fast, minimize debt, be frugal, have fun, and look at all of the levers that you have in terms of growing your business. With the next slide, I'm going to turn it over to Adam.
Thanks, Bill. And just that was the maximum number of slides we can give, Bill. And this is like the next slide is talking about an inside outside guy. So if your inside operational spreadsheet guy is a hype guy, you've got the wrong guy, because you're going to end up like Enron. He's probably making something up, right? So Bill and I have been a fantastic duo over the last decade of, him bringing that operational expertise, loving to get into the numbers, handling legal, handling contracts, agreements, partnerships. You have to find a synergistic relationship with a team member that is able to fill the gaps that you have. So I've been, kind of the outside facing leader, meeting with clients, raising capital, being the entrepreneur, the visionary, and Bill, as I mentioned, without hiring someone like that, I don't even know if my mobile technology would have made it. We were in a super competitive space, trying to beat out the competition, kind of a race to market. And he was able to think strategically, operationally, and then build the financial model for a longer sales cycle type product in a competitive space. So the point there is, finding that, I don't want to use a Batman and Robin example, but that's all I can think of right now, being that, visionary, the leader, or if you are, very operational, and starting you started your business, you're the operations guy, you're the product guy, maybe you do need a visionary to get out in front of you to, kind of paint the future for your clients and then also your team members.
You can see some other dynamic duos down here, like Roy and Walt Disney, right? Hewlett and Packard, Steve Jobs and Tim Cook, right? You know, there's a lot of power in having that. And I know at our company, when, you know, with Adam and Bill working together, serving our clients, it's been fantastic. And for me as well as a CEO and more of a, I love to implement, I like to execute, but I feel a lot better being able to cast vision, you know, with certain parts of our business, and to, you know, create culture and to lead people, and not have to get in the weeds and do everything. And and when I say do everything, I mean do that part of business, because it takes both, right? It takes both. Without vision, you know, people perish. Without having ideas, without that genius attack in the middle of, you know, you outside, you know, working on your garden, your lawn, you're like, oh my gosh, like the world's gonna change now. I just watch this. And then you got to have team members. You got to have people that you can lean on, and these duos are pretty powerful. So in terms of management, you know, and as you're forming your management team, man, it's like a marriage, really. It's like who you're picking to really to build with. And just like you're building your family, you want to pick well. Same thing. Super important decision here.
So earlier, Ryan emphasized the customer advisory board. So that's kind of a public facing component, great for product development, great for feedback from the market. As I evolved in my career, not only building a management team, I've always found that, you know, wisdom is found in the counsel of many. And so, you know, putting the right people around you that have traveled the path that you want to go is absolutely critical to your success. So someone that, you know, is not in the weeds of the business the day in and day out, but able to think strategically and long term, and brings really, you know, a different skill set and experience that you may have as a leader. So I've always, you know, starting with Velocitude, Qualmetrics, and now we've done this here at STG, is adding industry experts that are seasoned in business. Some are specific to the contracting space. Some are entrepreneurs that have had success in technology. And even, you know, we have a member of our advisory board that, you know, runs a large foundation in South Florida. So, you know, Ryan and I are not only interested in our, you know, personal success or the success of our business, but also in our families and the lives of our team members. And, you know, he helps provide a level of accountability there. So really a holistic, you know, 360-degree view of how to build a successful team and to make an impact in the market. So, you know, having that group of advisors to oversee you as a leader, oversee the business, and then ultimately, you know, that helps your team members and your clients.
So, you want to close it off, Adam?
Yeah, I can. So, you know, over 90% of, you know, successful companies, you know, and again, like there aren't, you know, we gave you 7 keys to success. You know, the truth is, you know, there's hundreds. As I said earlier, like the steps to success are infinite. And as soon as you know, reach what you think, you know, is, you know, the level you want to attain, like that's really the beginning. I mean, I've been at, you know, my career for now 25 years, and I feel like, you know, now at STG, I'm just getting started. And so what these 7 keys are a framework, and they give you dials and a dashboard view of how to optimize and make your business, you know, better, how to make the experience for your clients better, the experience for your team members. But really, you know, again, this is just a framework, and it's just the beginning of, you know, what it's going to take for you, you know, to grow your business, you know, to the next level. So this, you know, gives you a map, you know, that framework to kind of start to bucket out ways to improve it. So, you know, we really look for these, you know, fundamentals, which are, you know, exceptional people, a game-changing strategy, execution. As, you know, a successful entrepreneur, I get people coming to me every day, including Ryan, until I joined STG, which was, hey, what do you think about this idea? And there are an endless amount of ideas. There's an endless amount of people that want to be entrepreneurs. And the differentiating factor is their execution. And that's what I've been able to prove, for the last 20 plus years. Most of my ideas, they weren't, innovative. It was just finding a better way, a faster way, a more, financially affordable way to get to market. And then it came down, to the execution. And then obviously, being cash flow positive helps.
Hey, real quick, we have a question from Jason. We'll do a couple of questions here in a moment, and then I know Keith's going to be able to walk us through some things. But yeah, he asked like, how do they interact? What do they advise on? I'm gonna imagine that Jason's asking about like the advisory board or something like that. So, so Jason, to have an advisory board, you got to think, what is your goal, right? So if you want to build a business and sell it in 3 to 5 years, you're going to need a different type of advisor than if you want to build a family owned and operated business that you want to have as a multi-generational business, right? So you have a couple of different thoughts. You got to think with what is the founder, CEO's end goal in mind? What do they want? And with that, like with us, we have a couple industry titans, some technology folks in our industry who've had success, not in our industry, outside of our industry, people in technology. And we've also have like a spiritual kind of guy. So somebody who is in the business community at a foundation level, but also is very pastoral and cares about our families and our well-being and the livelihood and our culture and doing things at a high level of integrity and accountability. So what we want is we want insights from the industry. We want to be able to grow in like a technology type of way. And then we want to have a great family life and a great culture and impact the world around us. That's how we formed our board, right? And so you interact quarterly. You can do in-person meetings, do twice a year. You can do Zoom meetings. And essentially they're typically going to have some form of compensation in your business and a vested interest in your success. So hopefully that's a quick answer to your question, Adam. If you got another thing, that'd be good to know. So good to hear.
No, that's exactly it. It's someone that's not in the weeds of the day in and day out. So as a leader, as a CEO, a business owner, a contractor, I mean, you're in the day in and day out. It's why, I advise people not to manage their own money because, there's a lot of emotional attachment to it. You're watching the stock market every day, those types of, decisions, you're influenced by the information you take in. So if you're in the weeds of the business, you're constantly, putting out fires and being challenged. So you want someone, or a team of people that are overseeing the overall and strategic direction of the business.
Cool.
So next slide, Ryan, you can cover that one.
So I think, there's a book called Multipliers, and I love this book. So if you guys want to buy a copy, I recommend it. Multiplier versus the Diminisher. They talk about two different types of leaders. And, you got Tony at Zappos, CEO. He goes, my role as CEO is about unleashing what people already have inside them that is maybe suppressed in most work environments. And that's been really, I've been able to step into that even more than ever with having, a plan and a team and having, our senior leadership team formed and really growing as a CEO. Like it to me is so exciting to bring on powerful, empowered, inspiring people and empower them. And that's what my role is. It's about getting people to fully tap into what's inside of them. And what that creates is just an amazing impact where people are like, hey, how do I get my friend to work here? How do I, grow within the organization? So your job becomes, how do I creatively make ways within this vision for people to continue to grow? And that's what's going to really be the lid in your company is how growth minded are you? How big is your vision? And then that in your brain is going, and your skills to help people get there is going to be what's going to lift everybody else up within your company. And then that's what's going to create this all-star team and empowered, organization, what's just going to help you grow. So leadership's so key. And this is our job as CEOs. And this is not a whip, it's like the culture before was like, hey, you should be happy you work here. I'm paying you, right? It's just not like that anymore. It's like way more about, you got to market to your client, to your employees. You got to serve them. You got to care about their goals. You got to know who they are. They got to feel part of the fabric of the organization. And that's our job. It just changes and evolves. But the faster you can own this job, the faster you can delegate other things to help grow the business. So this is a near and dear to my heart type of slide, because this will change the game. So go ahead, Keith, and let's walk us through like our platform and kind of what we have going on as we kind of land this webinar here.
Absolutely, yeah, happy to. So we have been really focused here over the last few weeks and months on taking all these great ideas and really listening to our clients, actively listening to our clients in terms of what they need to solve the challenges and kind of meet them where they're at. And the first area that I'd like to point out in this kind of connected wheel that you're seeing on the screen is in recruiting. Talk about building a team and building a team of not just people, but you want to develop rock stars. And so what we've done is put together, I think, a pretty compelling offering to help you as the CEO, as the builder of your organization, to successfully recruit, screen, and onboard those team members. They could be fellow executives, they could be salespeople, a combination thereof, but people that you're going to need in order to take that next step from solopreneur or entrepreneur, like we were talking about a little bit earlier, and let you delegate to them so that you can work on the business a little bit more instead of in the business. So Recruiting Accelerator is one platform that we are putting together right now to help solve that issue of finding the people that are going to help you get to that next level and beyond. Next slide, please. Next is, I guess
Go
we're
back 3.
I think we're jumping around a little bit. That's okay. So the next one that's up on the wheel is Service Accelerator. And yeah, I think Bill had mentioned this a few minutes ago. There are some of you that might be commercially focused and you're looking to move to residential or vice versa. But what Service Accelerator does is starts getting you into the mindset of moving beyond just the kind of the one-off project work more into service and maintenance sort of work, particularly in roofing, but quite frankly, there are some other trades that could benefit from this as well. How do you create and expand your revenue beyond just the major projects and create more predictable, sustainable revenue, recurring revenue? So Service Accelerator gets deep into that, and Brian Mitchell is our subject matter expert on that. He's been doing a great job with our clients. Next slide. And most of you are familiar with at least one of the names that it's on this list, and this is really focused on sales confidence, right? That growing your business means generating more sales. And so our flagship product is the Sales Accelerator course and coaching is included in that. We have just recently released a couple of complementary sales confidence products, one in the residential space called Residential Sales Accelerator. Again, there's a roofing kind of underlying component to it, but it really is applicable no matter what trade you're in, whether it's painting, landscaping, HVAC, whatever. The Residential Sales Accelerator really gets more deeply into the prospecting, dealing with homeowners, et cetera. And so I'm really, really happy to have that one come to market. Chris Wolf is our subject matter expert on that. Again, does a phenomenal job. Many of you are already familiar, and some of you are already customers of one of our newer products called Roof Warrior. Again, very roofing specific, as the name would imply, but it really kind of builds on the foundation that Sales Accelerator has set. Again, a little more towards the residential side, but it really does a nice job. If you're looking to build out a team, especially a sales team of new folks that doesn't have much in the way of experience in roofing, Roof Warrior really takes them from almost ground zero and helps lay the foundation there for a very successful transition.
Real quick before we go to the last one, just to comment, like, so Recruiting Accelerator, we can help you build an in-house recruiting funnel platform to onboard people in a very unique way that nobody else is doing, that we're doing, and it's incredible. Service Accelerator, if you want to grow your business through service, a real strong business through service, repair, maintenance, and proactive agreements and building relationships in the marketplace through service, whether it's residential or commercial, that's a product for you. Sales Accelerator, we have 3 door-to-door with roofing called Roof Warrior, trade agnostic, any trade, residential Sales Accelerator, and then Sales Accelerator, which has been a lot of like our flagship product, but mostly people are getting into it and utilizing it for like business to business type sales, relationship-based sales. So really powerful. But going to this last one, this is the one that we're really pumped on, that this is higher level. This is different than all of them. This is for executives. So Keith, go ahead.
Yeah, sure. So Executive Accelerator, as Ryan just mentioned, it's a bit higher level. It's really kind of a nice segue from what we've been talking about here. How do you kind of position yourself as the leader? And one of the things that we do in Executive Accelerator is we start out with an evaluation of your leadership competencies, both you and if you have other members of your senior leadership team. So very similar to what we do with Sales Accelerator. We want to get kind of a baseline to see, and we have the tools to be able to kind of give an objective perspective on your current leadership competencies. Again, where do we start from? And then the course itself is broken out into a variety of modules, including transformational leadership, strategic planning, mastering the numbers, managing performance of employees, executive problem solving, and finally exiting and succession planning. So really, it's a comprehensive course and approach to learning how to transition into being a CEO, what that means from a team building standpoint, understanding all of the mechanics that we've been talking about here, not just sales, but operations, finance, HR, financial planning, et cetera, and really kind of takes you through the entire transformation journey of becoming the CEO that you want to be. And I'm really excited about that. That is just released as well. So we've got a couple of clients that we're working with right now on it. And Adam and Bill and Ryan are all involved. So it's a great offering.
Cool. Next slide. So just a couple of quick points here. We got then we're wrapping up. We got 2 minutes. So Toby Woodiwiss Painting, gentleman is crushing it. Was over the last 3 years went from 1.6 to 4.5, and he's on pace for 6.7 this year. And he's a residential painting contractor. So we're talking about, paint jobs. This is a lot of numbers here, a lot of volume. Next slide. Some sales stories. Casey Minot went from 1.5 to 5.1 in 2 years in sales. She credits our STG as a big part of that. She's a rock star. Tyler Landry doubled his closing ratio at Belden down in San Antonio. Next slide. Zach Wallach, one of my first kind of friends in the industry who started getting involved with, he was up to 20 million per year in sales and commercial sales in South Florida. Ryan Lephart went from 1 to 7.5 million in 2 years. This guy really took the program seriously and in sales specifically. But we have all these different products, and we want to find a way to get in your corner. Okay, so schedule a complimentary strategy session. So for specifically, if you're interested in the Executive Accelerator, we are doing some early kind of founding member type of services and really investing into our early clients on this product since we just really launched it this year. Really excited about the transformation that's already happening with our clients. Email Adam, adam.house@salestransformationgroup.com. We'll get you set up with a team member and he'll be on it. If you're interested in any of our other products, the recruiting, the service, the sales products, and we have a questionnaire that Nathan just dropped here. So if you just type that in and fill in the form, it should route you to allow you to book a call automatically with us. And when you automatically book a call, that's gonna, set you up with one of our team members, and we will be with you on that call to just kind of hear where you're at and meet you where you're at and find a way to support you and help you transform your organization. So that is an hour. We did it. Good job, everybody. Hopefully you guys found a ton of value here. complete the application or email Adam. And yeah, we look forward to it. Or you can just go to our website and say, hey, look, you know, I want to call, I saw the webinar. Love to connect with you guys and see how we can be in your corner. So thank you, Adam, Keith, Bill, Nathan, Veronica, and Ben for our team behind the scenes as well, making the slides happen and keeping us on track. So everybody, we will see you, and we'll send out the recording as well. Cannot wait to see you on the next one.